I definitely don't think wrestling itself is inherently a bad thing. I mean, it's exciting, it's entertaining, it's artful, there's some serious athletics involved, but wrestling does tend to pull a dark side out of me, and it tends to push me toward taking risks, and I'm not sure exactly why that is. It's just, I have an aptitude for surviving and thriving in a violent environment, and deathmatch wrestling is that sort of environment. You're willingly going in a ring in front of a live crowd and injuring yourself, drawing blood, breaking bones, having concussions. You know all these things are going to happen, yet you still willingly participate, and it's dysfunctional. I mean, there is a fun factor for sure, but there's obviously something not quite right going on.
And sick kid Mondo being tortured by these two, being absolutely tortured. He's like a Japanese World War II kamikaze pilot with no regard for his own body.
And I said very plainly, I was like, listen, man, every day, because of the stunts that you're remembered for, CZW gets new fans. Every day, without question. You search crazy stuff on YouTube, stuff that we're kind of infamous for, and you will see that guy.
Somebody can get seriously hurt. This is what
I just can't fathom about how he does that. 2 stories, all the way down. Boom.
Mondo has been thrown off of this balcony to the floor, some 20-25 feet through a cable.
That was crazy shit. Uneffing believable.
To this day, the stuff that the man did in the ring still holds weight and is still comparable to anything that has been done.
He has so many fans all around the world, and even in countries like Turkey.
The guy was insane. He was sick.
People still hold on to what he did because how revolutionary he was.
He had the biggest balls ever. Ever.
The whole atmosphere when Nick Mondo came to the ring was just, I would say, mind-blowing for me.
Absolutely mind-blowing for me as a kid.
He could do crazy spots that nobody's even heard of. I mean, the first time I saw the Weed Whacker...
Oh my god, I don't know how he took that much risks. I mean, getting hit with a Weed Whacker.
Weed Whacker.
I'm closing my eyes! I'm closing my eyes!
When I saw that, it was... wow.
As a fan, I would go back and watch that over and over and over again and be like, what the fuck?
He's amazing. He's just that aura, that superstar persona is supposed to have, that he presents himself when he's in the ring, that's what you believe in. You know what I mean? That's somebody you want to be. That's who you believe in. He had that. And I think, point blank, half the roster is here because of him.
I cannot believe this. This guy is some kind of god.
We've seen that kid get dragged through a light tube, fall off a table, fall off of a balcony, and get back on his feet. The man is superhuman, but the amount of pain that he can endure.
The only thing that really bothers me is to dismiss somebody and simply say, that guy's crazy, or that girl's insane. If you trace bad decisions back far enough, you will find somebody who originally was well-intentioned. So if you write somebody off that way, not only are you missing out on empathy and compassion, you're also going to miss out on some pretty interesting stories. Most pursuits begin with a role model. The desire's already inside of us. We just need somebody to show us how it's done.
This is the one! Everyone...
His name was Wife Beater.
Ultra-violent weapons match!
In a world of bodybuilders, clad in underwear, tanning bed lobsters, fake tough guys, he was the real thing. a filthy jeans-wearing, potato chip-eating, weed-whacker carrying, politically incorrect son of a bitch.
Big deal!
When Wife Beater was on the card, fans knew what to expect. A legitimate U.S. Marine who could walk through anything. Panes of glass, 200 light tubes, you could not stop this man.
German suplex!
No matter what you put him through, what you hit him with.
Bam! With that VCR!
Drop him from heights. Bash his head in. No matter what, he'd get back up. He was not human.
But I do want to mention that the fans are supplying the weapons in this contest.
A marching, undead soldier. And when his music hit, you better damn well be ready.
No! No!
A man so adept at violence, so naturally abusive, carrying out actions, had they been anywhere but a wrestling ring, would have landed him in prison.
Oh my God! Never in my life have I seen anything like this.
Standing next to Wife Beater made me feel like a kid in a Halloween costume. He was the real monster. I could only pretend to be.
Look at this, right there.
One day, as Wife Beater and I were preparing for a match in the back, I asked him, "What is it that makes you act the way you do in the ring?" He frowned at me and said, "You mean cut myself?" I said, "Yeah." Wife Beater blinked a couple times, then said, "Bad childhood. What about you?" Surprisingly, I wasn't ready for my own question. But what came out was guilt problems. Wife Beater nodded, satisfied. And from there, we went out to have one of the bloodiest matches ever to take place on American soil.
This is the final of the tournament of death. Sicknick Mondo and the Wife Beater with 200 light tubes. What's in the bucket? We cannot see from where we are what is in that bucket. The kind of guy in CZW that almost gets there. Forget about it. It's on. I don't even know why I bother analyzing. Wife Beater goes face first into the light tube. Who needs baseball to go on strike when you have CZW? Who cares about baseball, huh? What I'm saying. And barbed wire, springboard leg drop. But tonight they find themselves battling for the very same thing that Zandig Tournament of Death Championship. This is ultra-violence. Ultra-violent entertainment. You can't get it anywhere else but here at CZW. And you know what, John? Sold into the wound. That's just sick. And Zandig's Tournament of Death. Bam! And where's it gonna end, John? Where's it gonna end? How's a match like this gonna end? Live in Dover, Delaware, he's got the weed whacker up. There's the weed whacker out of this. There's the weed whacker out of this. It's a human being, not a plant. WB. I'm closing my eyes. I'm closing my eyes. My God. My God. Excuse me. Bam. 1, 2, 3. It's over. He won the tournament.
That's just about as bad as things got. But no, that's not where this story starts.
Matt was definitely different than the other kids I grew up with. I would say the main thing was he was always coming up with new ideas. of stuff to do.
And these basically, they capture the sun's energy and they change it into, and they
If it wasn't for Matt, we would have lived very boring lives as teenagers.
Here's round 3 of kegger smashing. What was that?
Matthew had quite a lot of friends in high school, and he was kind of the leader of them, which was nice. He got into a lot of trouble, but it wasn't bad things that he did. It was just mischievous things like, you know, spitballs, and of course there were probably things I didn't know about.
Yeah, it was always interesting hanging around with Matt. We had a friend that would supply us with M80s and quarter sticks. Whoa. We had a lot of explosives on hand that we used, and if we didn't have those, we'd make matchhead bombs. Not anything, but just for the simple fact of blowing things up. It was just for fun.
Hey, there's Terry. Hey, Terry.
I've never had friends quite like the people I grew up with. We did everything together. We had time for each other. We never worried that we were wasting it. We were free to think about the things that made us laugh, that made us happy.
He looks like Levi.
And my friends, they understood me. As bizarre as I was, they got my sense of humor. And they joined with me in my ambitions, no matter how strange they were. All of us grew together. We learned about life, and we changed together. I don't think we took it for granted, but we did imagine that it would always be that way. That the world would always just be a funny joke to laugh at. And that all the stress and sadness that everybody else dealt with, student loans, job resumes, car insurance, home mortgages, weddings to pay for, kids to feed, divorce lawyers, debt, well, we just refused to participate.
Go with your ass. Oh, shit.
Because who could make us? But in reality, nobody is exempt. Eventually, in our youth, most of us will take a hit that stays with us for life.
Have you spent time thinking about what it really meant to be crucified? Have you ever studied what the Roman crucifixion was like? They slap you and say, "Tell us the name of the person that slapped you." Put a crown of thorns on his forehead and push it down until it bites into his temples. And they take this whip and they lash into the person over and over again. They waited for the blood to dry into the robe that was on his back. And then they tore it off, placed one foot over the other, and drove a spike through his bone. Every time you sin, he feels the pain of that sin on the cross 2,000 years ago. There's not one person in here, not one, who would be willing to go through this kind of torture. Not one of us has the courage. Not one of us would be able to stand in for what he did.
Perseverance is nothing but stubbornness refined. So you really need to watch what you say around stubborn people.
I don't think I was worried about Matt or concerned about Matt growing up, but I definitely saw signs of darkness. You know, his hair started to get longer. He started wearing like ripped, tattered pants and, you know, spiked collars. And if there was anything like dark or odd or creepy, he was into it.
I worried that he was filling his mind with things that weren't healthy, and I wondered how this would affect him negatively. But I think every teenager goes through this.
But after a while, down the line, the ninja battles just turned into, they were free-for-all. They were just, we were going around trying to hurt each other basically to get something good on film. And it did happen. Matt, I believe, broke his nose. He bit through his upper lip. He also incorporated barbed wire, and some fluorescent lights were in the ninja battles, but he was the only one brave enough to take any of the lights. Definitely the major injuries all happened to Matt. Matt was the one that was willing to take it the farthest.
Is there any good scars? Any battle wounds from this one?
That's right about the time the humor started to fade, and the innocence. My thoughts and my plans were increasingly guided by violence and hostility, but above all, self-harm. That's when I learned, if you can make people laugh or keep them entertained, it's amazing the things you can get away with.
Burns is just all tore up.
No, it's okay. I'm just hyperactive.
Oh, shit!
No, really, I'm fine. See, I'm a fan of stunt work. That's my motive. It's just the performance that I enjoy. Funny thing is, I don't remember being happy. I didn't know what I was feeling. But somehow, I was convinced that I wanted more. If only there were a place where this kind of behavior was normal.
We had to just sit him down and say, okay, you are free to do whatever you want to do, but you're also free to pay the consequences of your actions. And that took a lot of tension out of our family because Matthew was really strong-willed. And we released him into a phase of life where he was free to make his own decisions, and he made decisions that were costly to him sometimes.
You know, Matt is, you know, he's on his own program, and I don't think anything I would have said would have had an effect on him. Matt is just motivated, and I think even then he knew what he wanted to do. I think he already had probably, you know, made some plans on going to wrestling school.
I knew at the time, though, because it wasn't regulated to the same extent when I was involved, I knew it was an atmosphere where I could explore some of the hostility that was in me without, you know, getting charges pressed against me.
When he decided to do this, I actually drew a picture of him in a set of hands and drew a little stick figure of my son inside them and just said, Lord, he's yours now. I'm trusting you to take care of him and protect him.
What you see here is nothing compared to what you're gonna see. Tell him, Mondo!
This is just the start. This is the way we choose to live. Nobody tells us we have to do this stuff. We are ultra-violent. We are CZW, and there's no other federation on the planet like us.
It looks like he's trying to go for the assault driver! The assault driver! The assault driver, 25 feet in the air! Uh-oh! Oh! Someone call 911! Are these men mentally sane? Mondo going upstairs! High-risk maneuver! BM Bison! BM Bison! Mondo has the highest threshold of pain. Remember, unbelievable John House has him up. No! Yes!
Tomorrow, everybody sees just how sick Nick Mondo can be.
Reversal of the Irish whip. Nick Mondo! Holy shit! Holy fuck!
The Iron Man title. If you want to wear the Iron Man title, you have to wear scars on your body. If you want to carry the Iron Man title, you have to carry broken bones. If you want to have the Iron Man title, you have to have concussions. I'm down with every single one of those things.
Nick Mondo just went to hell. John, somebody could get hurt.
Watching him come off the roof and fall through the tables was one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
It was probably one of the most difficult things I've ever experienced with Matthew. No one wants to watch their son do risky things that will injure them and possibly for the rest of their life.
Around that time, I really thought, like, this is just going too far. Like, he's going down a bad road, that he's going to end up getting killed or maimed or paralyzed, you know. And, you know, he's so young in his career and he's, you know, so young in his life.
You know, he's on the ground, people are chanting, holy shit, and suddenly he starts moving, and I'm like, okay, he's moving, good, good, good. Next thing you know, he gets to his feet, and he walks back to the ring and finishes the match. And, you know, obviously I felt relief, but I felt like, how can he keep doing this to himself?
You can call me a lot of things, but don't call me a hero. And do not envy me. I've never seen a battlefield. I've never saved anybody. My scars were planned. I didn't earn them. Age 23, and my youth gone. I'm the prodigal son. My inheritance squandered. My strength, the best of me, the last of it, bleeding out in the parking lot of a bar in Delaware. And yet, I was still hungry.
I opened my eyes and I saw a fire that could never be quenched. The only way to escape is to turn your back and walk away, to disappear.
Truthfully, when I walked away from wrestling, I eventually had a bit of an identity crisis. You come to realize, I came to realize that maybe I was more taking on the persona that I had created in the ring than my actual persona. And if you remove something like that, that's such a substantial part of your life, questions start to arise of, do I even like myself? Am I even comfortable with myself? And I understood how important that was. And I also understood how important it was that I not return to wrestling, because I was like, I want to figure this out.
I am a shell, tossed in the waves of the ocean. The only thing I want is stillness. I can steady my hand, but inside, I'm shaking. I exhale, empty my lungs, but I still taste the pollution, the residue. I become a vapor, a ghost drifting, until I find even spirits can't hide. Because eventually, the demons will come, and they never, ever forget. Perseverance is nothing but stubbornness refined. So you really need to watch what you say and what you do around stubborn people.
I think you're both balanced with these. See if something practice your moves.
Scene, an emotional moment for this young man. Just think about all he's worked towards, all he's ever wanted and dreamed about. He's here under those bright lights. It's an opportunity that's 18 years in the making for this kid. Wow! Holy shit! Nothing little about that. And a nice move.
Shades of his idol. Shades of his idol.
Kodak moment for little Mondo. This kid's gonna take that memory with him wherever he goes.
And of course, it made me kind of smile at first, and it was fun to see. But a couple years into it, he started mimicking the violent stuff that I had done, and I started really seeing him take some serious damage to his body, and it made me uncomfortable. And to the extent that eventually I told him, like, Rory, please just don't send me these videos. I don't want to see them.
Oh, look at that table full of sliced aluminum cans.
This is the new era of ultraviolet.
The most disgusting match I've seen all year. Look at these guys. Oh my God. Ripping at his face. Bruce says they're gonna break that table and kills him. No! And Bison between them. No! Little Mondo! Oh God! It's a Merry motherfucking Christmas!
attemptedly joined CZW was for the ultraviolet tournament style, and I was here since the first tournament of death as a fan, watching my hero Sick Nick Mondo win this tournament himself. Now it's my dream to do it myself.
So, for once, someone's gonna try to marry Rory Mondo. That's not me during one of his matches. Tournament at Death 12.
And not for nothing, he lost. He lost against Ron Mathis. Wow, damn Rory Mondo. Where is Rory finding the energy? Now look at this cutthroat driver.
Right on his head. Right on the top of his head. Ready, right into the coffin.
Oh, he's got 5 seconds.
Alright, this is where he got me with the double stop, right here, and he got me pretty good in the back too. Barbed wire, light tubes, tack strips. Last but not least, this is where he got me with the light tube, right in my head. Stuck one good right in there.
Please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do this. Japan is a really good place to hide, especially Tokyo. It's a city of 12 million people, but ironically, it's one of the loneliest places I've ever been. People generally just keep to themselves. They mind their own business, but it's a really good place to go if you basically just want to get lost in the noise, or if you're trying to forget something.
It's like it's 2002 all over again.
We really asking for 2002 back?
I certainly am.
I said it once, I'll say it again. Whether I'm in the United States, Japan, fucking Antarctica wants to bring out barbed wire, let's do this shit. Because I'm not little. And it's getting by.
A little Mondo fighting for his jugular. Oh my God! Staggering the man.
Oh no, oh no, oh God!
Oh no! The unsuspecting Rory Mondo never even saw it coming.
The hopes and dreams of little Mondo, following the footsteps of Sick Nick Mondo in Tournament of Death, has just been shattered along with that glass.
Little Mondo, bloody mess right now.
His ribs, he wants to complain about his chest. I'm fucking hurting, Danny Havoc, but I didn't complain. You almost died tonight.
Oh God, Mondo is in not a good spot right now. Oh my God!
Stay awake. Stay awake.
guys, I really didn't want to come back when I made the return to CZW. It was uncomfortable for me. Being so far removed from wrestling, you have to understand it was 10 years since I walked away from the ring. It's not easy to just get back in character and step in and do that, but it was something I actually felt I should do.
Cage of fucking death, everybody!
The tables are accounted for, the cage plants are accounted for.
Oh, the serious stuff is about to happen.
What do you think about this whole deal?
I can't watch this stuff. This makes me nervous.
You know, back here waiting for your music or whatever, it's like you gotta get in your mindset of like, pretty much like you're walking into your funeral.
No, it's always a little bit of butterflies. Like, you don't want to get hurt. I don't want any of these other people to get hurt.
What do you think?
Of the match?
Yeah. You excited, nervous?
Nervous.
And in passing, I'm like, was that sick Nick Mondo? Because I had no idea.
But I mean, the fact that he's here is just like, I mean,
big deal, right?
Yeah, you know, tomorrow that's all it's going to be talked about.
Yeah.
Oh Mondo, oh Mondo.
I was absolutely shocked. And that's a shoot. That is an absolute shoot. That's not Greg Excellent. That's Greg Skipper. I will tell you, that's a fucking surprise out of the blue.
He heard about the cage and contacted me about what was going on in the cage match. And, you know, he wants to be here just to make sure I pretty much don't die in this match. That's the reason why he's actually here.
Beautiful.
Nick, Matt, thank you for coming back.
Oh man, Matty Tremont, he ain't pumped up yet. I'm about to punch him in the motherfucking face.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for
On the platform! Oh my God!
I think he's eliminated. And there is a man without a care in the world. Oh! Oh! Little fight left in Abbott, but not for long. Oh my God! Indoor chair shot record set. Everyone fighting through hell right now. Oh my God! It looks like glass, thumbtacks, and Legos. Oh no. No. Oh, Jesus! He died! The man's dead! What? Oh, that's sick Nick Mondo! Holy shit! No way! There is one hero left! I have never heard this crowd so loud like I do right now. Lucky 13! It's over!
No! 10 years ago, I was out there, and it was you. I was watching you.
came out here to live up to you, and fucking you left. You left these people. He left you. He left you out here, and now I'm here, and he left you. And I get no fucking respect. No respect.
I know you don't feel respected by these people. I know you don't feel respected by the wrestlers. I came back here to tell you something. You've done enough. You've done enough to earn my respect.
I earned your respect. That's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted was my idol to come back to CCW. I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, this is my last match ever, and I just want to thank everybody here. I just want to thank everybody. This is my last match, and there's no other way I could go out than with him here.
That's it, that's his last match ever. That's all he wanted. That's all he did this for. And he finally got what he wanted.
Yeah, what a scene here.
I mean, Rory Mondo felt as though he had been forgotten about. But it seems like the one person the whole time that never forgot about him was his idol, Sick Nick Mondo. Some people wrestle for titles. Rory Mondo wanted the respect of the guy that he idolized. He used to sit front row for the shows back at the ECW arena and watch Sick Nick Mondo destroy himself. He modeled his entire life, not his career, his entire life after that.
I'm stepping in the ring to try to be one of the most famous independent wrestlers of all time. Few can ever match what he did in the ring. He had that it factor, and I'm trying to replicate that and not natural at all at it, so it's really difficult. I don't feel like I lived up at all those first couple of years to that expectation to be like him. So fast forward to the Cage of Death moment, I think at that time everybody in the entire place was on their feet, whether they hated me or not, because Nick Mondo, one, was in the building, and two, it was a very emotional moment for everybody. And even my friends who were there freaked out, and they barely knew who he was. They didn't have that connection that I did, and they were like, oh my God. Talk about a special moment, just not for me, retiring, everybody. I'm sharing the ring with the guy who I wanted to be my entire life.
Are you aware of like the legacy you left behind? Do you realize kind of like the magnitude inside CCW of like what your career means to so many of the guys, you know, that came after you? You're still considered to this day, you know, like one of the icons of deathmatch, and it's been 10 years since you even stepped in a ring.
I saw Sick Nick Mondo the first time ever at IWA King of the Death Matches. When I was standing right by the table, and he got thrown off the balcony, took that big bump. But I remember taking pictures of him coming down and just going, this is what I'm gonna do. I thought the dude was gonna die, personally, but when he didn't, I was like, you know, this dude is so much what I imagine myself like in a couple years doing this. But I tell you, after that night, I just remember it was the beginning of a lot of pain. Beginning of a whole lot of pain. Physical pain, emotional pain. Wrestling is a journey in pain.
Nothing to be ashamed of, kid. You were welcome back at our house anytime.
Hey, it's JD Horror here. Mondo was a huge influence on my decision to get into deathmatch wrestling. Just his innovation, his creativity.
Hello, I'm 14 years old. Nick Mondo has positively influenced my life by getting me involved with deathmatch wrestling. That's one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
He was one reason the younger stars needed to raise that bar. And the bar's been set by Sick Nick so many times.
Life or death, he made sure he gave the fans what they wanted to see. I took that in my own personal level. I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Oh my God, to the stomach! Oh my God, look at the stomach of Brian Woods. I hope there's a camera close up on this.
Then Cage of Death, Nick Mondo returns, an epic pause, and there he is. How awesome is that?
For him to come back 10 plus years later after he's been gone and stopped in this business, and to share that moment on top of the Cage of Death with him, and for me, to have that and hear the crowd and share that moment with Nick Mondo is something I'll always remember and cherish. He paved the way for guys like myself and a lot of others to continue this style and genre of wrestling and to keep CZW alive. He was one of the pioneers, and as I like to say often, part of the ultra-violent foundation that built the company and paved the way, and to give guys like me to be able to do all this craziness.
So, Nick, thank you very much. I mean, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a Lucky 13, so thanks.
As I was telling everybody before, Nick Mondo will always be a special memory for me.
New inspiration to myself and many others.
Inspiration.
Everything about Sick Nick Mondo inspired me so much.
Mondo is my inspiration. He's my idol.
He impacted my whole wrestling career.
He inspired me in many ways, such as wrestling moves, of course.
Assault! Oh! That's it! I'm gonna say it! No champion! No!
Oh my God! Oh!
So that leaves me with this. With a broken ankle in 2 places and needing surgery.
I had an opportunity to wrestle the ultra-violent icon, Zandig. Basically, it was the Sick Nick Mondo Zandig bump of 2003, which is basically a bump that inspired me to be as crazy as I am today. Ruptured tendons, surgery.
I was inspired by Nick Mondo, and I tried to emulate him and try to do stunts just as crazy as the ones that he was doing back in the United States and over in Japan, but I broke my back, I broke my spine, and had to quit wrestling. Just like that, it was gone.
I just hope that the legend of Sick Mondo never dies and it keeps influencing people the way it's influenced me.
I mean, and thank God I found him and CZW. And everything else that followed. I mean, you're around for such a short time, you made such an impact on so many people's lives. Wrestlers, wrestling fans, everyone, man.
Look at you. What a leader. With your followers, carrying on your legacy. Sacrificing, bleeding, all to become the image that you created. A reckless, furious, suicidal maniac, breeding violence. That's who you are. That's all you are. And you know this. You know this. But no, you wanted this. You wanted it. You chose this. You knew the price. You understood, even as a boy, the wages of sin is death. Not flesh wounds, not broken bones, death. And you stopped short. Now there's blood on your hands. There's blood on your hands. Not just your own. It's the blood of your followers, of your disciples. So stand up like a man and finish the job. No, I was confused. I was misled. But the message was never meant to be guilt. It was a gesture of compassion, a free gift that could never be repaid. But it was never meant to be. The path I chose, the path that I created, led me to a lost, isolated battlefield where nobody is victorious. But it was my choice. And it is my choice to lay my weapons down. Listen to me. There is no separation. You are a part of me. And I know what that means. But this time, I decide how it ends.
Always and will be what extreme wrestling, hardcore wrestling, and ultra wrestling is meant to be.
I think it's fine if people want to get involved in wrestling, even deathmatch wrestling, you know, but you need to be sensible and you need to know when it's time to step away. So I hope that's more part of my legacy is if people are going to follow me, I hope that they follow the decision to leave at the right time too. I've had some people tell me that I've inspired them to do what they're doing, and it's on one hand flattering and on another hand kind of disconcerting because I understand what's going to happen to them if they mimic, you know, what I'm doing. So I just hope that people walk the same road that I did and just know when it's time to walk away because it's going to wreck your life if you don't. And so I hope that's the case.